Hey there and welcome to the Virtual Cafe Studio for coffee combos about business finances. I'm your host Kerry Zarb and I am the Money Barista. Together with Kim White, we bring you the casual feel of topics about finances every week. Step inside the Virtual Cafe and discover how simple your business finances can be. What are we waiting for? Come on, let's go. It's coffee time. Welcome back to the Virtual Cafe, Kim.
Hey, Kerry, I'm so excited to be here.
Me too. I feel like we haven't been here for ages and, it was last week. Kim, I want to say out loud, I think you and I achieve so much and we do so much and we have so many people around us doing so much each week that a week, although it goes quickly, so much happens. It's so full and it's so exciting that it feels like a month.
I agree, Kerry. I completely agree.
So what are we going to talk about today, Kim, in the Virtual Cafe?
Well, Kerry, I have a question from a viewer. And I'm going to call it a viewer because there's someone who actually watches GME, who watches Good Morning Entrepreneurs. But their question was, how do I get organized for taxes and how do I stay that way? We're in the U.S. I'm just going to put this little note in there. In the U.S., it's the end of tax season for us this month. And I think it's on everybody's mind, Kerry, here. So what would you suggest, Kerry?
Well, Kim, this is kind of an extension of last week's episode, and I'm hyper aware of the US tax season because it's the complete opposite to ours here in Australia. And this is the last month for your tax season, so it's a great time to be thinking about how can we be more organised with our finances coming into the holiday season, the new year, all the things, like everything's on the plate at the moment in our thinking when it comes to this space. So Kim, I want to open my digital shoebox and talk a little bit about that because I think this is a game changer. I think this is something like you need a digital shoebox. Everyone that is managing their business finances, and I'm even going to go so far as to say even your personal finances, a digital shoebox is gold. It is just this beautiful thing that you can have that's going to help you stay organised. Imagine, Kim, having a space where you can find all the things that you need, especially when it's coming up to tax time. I don't know about you, Kim, but many years ago, I would sit there and gulp, absolutely gulp, when it was tax time because I knew that I needed to produce documents, I had to get bank statements. The list goes on of all of the things that we need to produce in order to do our taxes. And we need to keep this stuff. This is not just now, in the moment, end of the tax year. You've got to keep the records ongoing, depending where you are in the world, for an element of time. It sounds hard, Kim. That sounds really challenging, and I understand everyone that still gulps at tax time and still feels unorganised, feeling the stress, the pressure, all the things. And this is why we need a digital shoebox, Kim.
So, Kerry, I want to interject really quickly what a digital shoebox would even reference, because old school or, old time, grabbing all the receipts and all the things you need, people would throw them in a shoebox and take them to their accountant. And so the fact that you are bringing a digital shoebox to the table, Kerry, makes me giggle because let me just tell you, those gulp moments are when you look in that shoebox, like physically look in there and you're like, oh my goodness, look at this mess. And did I get everything in there? Did I find everything? Did I put everything to take to the accountant?
In 2022, I started sharing a special tool out to the universe that has since saved users over $116,000. I'm Kerry Zarb, the Money Barista, and I know what it feels like to find random charges on your bank or credit card statement. If you want to get in control of your recurring payments, then the Money Barista Savings Tool is the free step for you. I host a live tour of the savings tool every quarter, and it's completely free for you to attend and get this amazing tool. Come and hang out with me and others in the virtual cafe for your free demo so that you can find those nasty charges and start saving money. Head over to kerrysarp.com/savings to register for the next live tour. And while you're there, grab your free and private copy of the Money Barista Savings Tool so that you can get started on saving money today.
So when you say a digital shoebox, will you explain just a little bit more? Because I think this is such a game changer. I think you're spot on with it. Is definitely a game changer.
When we talk about going back in time, that we have the occasional receipt on the dashboard of our car, and we know what the sun does to that, and we know what happens, and next minute you've got this crispy, crunchy, blank piece of paper. It's got no information. So gone are those days. Yes, we can still put receipts on the dashboard of our car. However, we don't have to, because it is simply something that can go into our digital shoebox. Everything can go into our digital shoebox. And again, I come back to think of this one magical place where everything exists. And Kim, again, I have to go back in time. I remember spending weekends preparing for tax and evenings and weekend on weekend and all the yuckies existed, Kim. So take away the dashboard, take away the faded print on the receipt, and think of everything in a digital format where we can have it at our fingertip. We can add to it, we can access it, it's available. It's just, oh my God, it's magical. It really is. And we create it. We create it ourselves to assist us so that come tax time, I'm going to my digital shoebox. I'm not going to the filing cabinet. I'm not going to the shoebox in the spare room that's the top shelf that I can't reach and all of those kind of things. I'm looking for my digital shoebox because throughout the year, I'm going to contribute to that and I'm going to keep adding everything, even if it's just maybe I need it, throw it in the digital shoebox. And then again, we come to tax time. Maybe you didn't need it, but you know what? It's there. It's there anyway. Didn't hurt anybody. I love it.
I think it's brilliant, Carrie. And I want to mention, because I know that, I am a member of the Money Barista Club, and I want to say out loud, Carrie, this has been something you have been helping all of us with, to learn how to put things in a certain place and learn how to be prepared for things. So the club, you are literally giving a how to create your whole digital shoebox in the club in January. Is that right?
That is correct, Kim. And we talk about the digital shoebox almost every meetup that we have in the club. It surfaces because people are finding new ways to use it. And we build this club together, Kim. This is not me sitting there preaching to the club members of how to do things. Other people come up with suggestions of how they've used their digital shoebox, and therefore that comes to the table in conversation, and we're constantly building our digital shoebox because it's not a one and done. It lives on, it rolls over, it does all the things, and for us to find our way to create our digital shoebox is what it's all about. So in every club meetup, there's a mention of the digital shoebox. Definitely in January, we are hitting the whole surface of the digital shoebox. What does it look like? How do we bring it together? What's the best use for it? All the things. Because we need to know, everybody needs a digital shoebox, Kim. I really actually believe this because I know what it's done for me and I know the time that I've saved. I sleep like a baby, Kim. My head hits the pillow and I am out like a light. So I want that for others. So definitely in the club in January, we're going to completely unpack the digital shoebox and show everybody exactly how it works. Anyone that's an existing existing member in the club will revisit the digital shoebox, because sometimes these things fall off our radars, Kim. That can happen too. So we always need to revisit and make sure and touch base and check in and do all those things. So I'm looking for, can you tell I'm a little bit excited about January's session, Kim? Can you?
I'm super excited, Carrie. And yes, you are very much showing your excitement, Carrie.
I love it. I love it.
You and your beans, Carrie. Do you have a recipe this week for coffee too to go with the digital shoebox recommendation?
I do, Kim, and it's more of a coffee type that I want to talk about today, because I have been exploring coffee for so long, and I found a new one recently that I had heard of, but I didn't actually know what it was, and I was absolutely intrigued, so I might have done some homework on this one, Kim, and it's called, you'll know it straight away, it's called an Americano.
Whoa.
And sounds really fancy, right? Like Americano. It's like, oh my God, how do you make that thing? Oh, well, all the things. And that was me when I came across it. And again, I'd heard of it so many times. And I'm like, okay, what's this Americano about? What's going on here? And Kim, it is simply, you're not going to believe it, it is simply a shot of espresso that you dilute with some water to taste. It's just that simple.
Wow.
I know. I'm like, where's the rest? Now, can I just say, I object. I absolutely object. I will not be partaking in an Americano. Where's the milk? Where's the goddamn milk? I can't. I'm just not a straight coffee lover. I don't do espresso. I don't like black coffee. I've just never warmed to it, Kim. I have to have milk with my coffee. So I am out as far as the Americano is concerned. No offense to anyone in America, of course. However, it's just not for me.
I need my little shot of milk with my little shot of coffee, Carrie.
Exactly. I agree. It's just not the same. But how simple is that, Kim? For those that do like black coffee and love espresso, shot of espresso, dilute it with water, how you like it. It is that simple.
That is super simple, Carrie.
I know. I love it.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
You're very welcome. And Kim, I think it is time to hop out of the virtual cafe for today, and we will be back. Shall we come back next week, Kim?
I think we should, Carrie. I'm excited to, because I have more questions, Carrie.
Oh, great. Okay, we better come back next week, and we have more questions to answer, and there may be more coffee as well.
Yay!
Well, Kim, thanks for hanging out with me in the virtual cafe, and I will talk to you next week.
Thank you, Carrie. Love you.
Love you, Kim. Bye. Thank you for joining us in the virtual cafe studio for this convo about business finances. This production is brought to you by the money barista, Kerry Zarb. You can follow the show to be notified of future episodes, and if you're enjoying this podcast, we encourage you to leave a rating or personal review. Until next time, happy biz beans to you. No beans were harmed during the production of this podcast. Information contained in this podcast should be taken as general advice only, and your personal circumstances have not been taken into account. It is recommended that you seek financial advice from a professional who is licensed to do so. If you choose to act upon the general advice shared, you do so at your own risk.